happy to be 2-0. Excited about this opportunity. Going back, looking at the tape, really was very, very impressed with our offensive efficiency. Jordan Tom, who played really, really well. Receivers, they made some really, really big plays when they had to, so very pleased with that. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, the obvious is a tale of two halves. Same calls against the same plays. We executed in the second half. In the first half, we didn't. So I think that goes back to me having the guys ready to play right when we come out right from the start. And so I think we got 12 opportunities, and we got to make sure we do a better job of taking advantage. Not in the second half, but in the first half. But from a schematic standpoint, everybody was asking me that. It was more just about execution and going out and playing the game, because the same people that were running wide open in the first half was the same plays we were intercepting in the second half. And we just played faster and with a more sense of urgency, but it wasn't anything schematic, more just focus and going out and playing the game the way it should be played. So, but obviously we've got to move on pretty quickly, have the #1 team in the country. Coming into Oxford, excited about the challenge, and excited to have a big game. I know the Grove will be rocking, and Vaught Hemingway will be a great atmosphere, so really excited for the challenge.
Bring the microphone to you. Who wants to go first? Injury situation.
Yeah, so we have a few, DeMarcus Lodge and Tisdale are still in the concussion protocol. I think DeMarcus is coming out of it pretty good, so I think he'll be probable. Cavante Ruggs is also probable. He's coming out of it. Bing Dukes and Jaquez were a little banged up, but I think they'll play.
What kind of timeline are we looking at for Tisdale?
Yeah, it's whenever you're in the protocol, you have to take a test, and then you have to go a full day, and then you can go non-contact. So when you get into the protocol, it's pretty much day to day. So I should know a lot more on Wednesday when I speak with you.
And when you talk about getting the guys ready from more of a mental standpoint, how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, you work all year for 12 opportunities, and you have to treat them, and they're all precious, and you have to treat them all the same. And so often, it's very, very hard to just get them to focus and be in the now. But I think that's my job as a head coach, is to have them ready to go and take advantage of each opportunity.
Matt, feeding off DeMarcus being out Saturday, just initial thoughts and looking at the film of Braylon's start and a lot of the receivers we kind of weren't used to writing about.
Well, that's the fun part, is to see the work ethic really paying off, and see Braylon take advantage of his opportunity, not only last game but in the first game. So he's starting to be consistent and show up, making the tough catches. Fun to see Elijah, get his first touchdown, and a guy like Alex Weber, who's really worked hard and been here a long time, being the #1 play on SportsCenter on his first ever catch. So it's just fun to see all their work ethic, because it's not just talent. Those guys work really, really hard, and they push each other to be better. And it's good to see, obviously AJ, DK, and Lodge, they get all of the publicity, but some of the other guys getting some, I think that's really good.
I know every game's equally important, but from a recruiting standpoint, all eyes are going to be on this game. I know you want a good showing. Just talk about that from the recruiting standpoint.
No, yeah, I think it's important. We'll have obviously have a lot of prospects here, and I think it's a good opportunity for them to see Oxford at its best. A night game in the Grove, the stadium packed. It'll be a great atmosphere for college football, and obviously it will help in recruiting.
Matt, you'd kind of indicated that Elijah Moore was going to do kickoff returns against SIU, but then we saw Tyler Knight back there the whole time. What was?
Yeah, we wanted to give Tylen some opportunities because Elijah was going to be the punt returner, so we give them some equal opportunities to make some plays.
Matt, you've been a part of staffs here before that have beaten Alabama. Is there anything that you can reflect back on those weeks of preparation for them that you might could put into play this week?
Yeah, I've given that a lot of thought, but really none of those have any bearing. It's different players, different teams, and we got to focus on this year with the guys that are in our room, playing against that team. So I don't think any previous years, I don't think it matters. It's all about this year.
Matt, last year's game was such a lopsided margin there. Is there something that you have to help the guys through there? Is there any carryover?
It's the same comment that I just, it's about this year. It's about our guys, and the 2 years that we beat them before, or last 2 years, they don't have any bearing on this year.
Keezer Smith obviously got a big pick there. A couple other young guys made some big plays. Talk about who you thought stood out there on defense or offense, young guys, and could their roles increase this week?
Yeah, certainly. As you get deeper and deeper into the season, your depth becomes more important as guys start to get banged up. So I think Kedron, he had a really good fall camp, and you saw him coming along. So it's good for him to go make a play and really. Elijah, Tylen, Tylen played really, really well on special teams, kickoff coverage. He did some really, really good things. So it's good to see some of these freshmen step up and make some plays.
Take questions up top. Coach Luke, this is kind of a two-part question. When you see on film Alabama's defense, just their front line with Raekwon Davis and those guys, what stands out to you the most about them? And offensively, with Tuya and Jalen Hurts in that offense, what's impressed with you?
I mean, just both sides, good players everywhere, and their ability to keep on putting good player after good player, and the consistency that they've shown, it's impressive. They got good players and they're well coached, and but impressive both sides of the ball. I mean, offense, defensive lines are always really good skill players, and so I'm just impressed that year after year the consistency that they've shown.
Coach, is there a different vibe or energy around the building and on the practice field for Alabama week?
Yeah, I think anytime you have the number one team in the country and the opportunity, but again, I think the focus is we get 12 games, and we have to take advantage of each and every one. But anytime you got a night game in Vaught-Hemingway against the number one team in the country, I think there is a little bit of extra juice.
What have you seen on film from Tua that explains why he's doing so well?
The ability for a young quarterback in the decision making. They ask him to do some RPO stuff where he's got to make some decisions. He's got a really quick release. He's got very, very good receivers to throw it to. And then his ability to extend plays. I mean, you watch their first touchdown versus Louisville. I mean, he extends the play and makes a play with his feet. And, keeps drives going on third down by scrambling out of the pocket. So just his ability to extend plays, and obviously his decision-making has been good.
Any more questions for Coach?
Matt, you've touched on opportunities and focus a little bit, and you say you hammered that home last week. How can you address focus with players other than just bring it up, talk about it? I mean, what can you do to get that out of them?
No, I think just preparation and the way you approach your work week and the way you approach your business, and just keeping your focus, and that's up to me to set that and to go on the practice field on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and go out there and make it happen. But and just try to see the big picture. I think sometimes you look past and you got to worry about the here and the now and be focused on your task at hand, because the football is, I mean, it's tough to win every game, and they're all very, very important. They all count the same. So you just got to take advantage of each opportunity that you have.